From inside the home of the Marauders here in Fortville, you've got IHSAA boys basketball here on 9-Star TV. Tonight's matchup, two ranked opponents. The number 15 Braves of Brebeuf Jesuit out of Class 3A facing off with the Mt Vernon Marauders, number 11 out of Class 4A. Hi there, everybody. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. So happy you could join us as this has been a matchup circled on everyone's calendar. Jim, Brebeuf ranked number 5 in the 3A poll, looking to bounce back from a loss to the Park Tudor Panthers, a squad earlier this season, just the week ago, rather. Then you have Mt Vernon on the other hand. They have not played in the last 2 weeks. Their last game was a narrow win against Delta, 48-47, the final score in that one. Their last 2 games after that have either been canceled or postponed because of last week's snowstorm.
Yeah, you know, the weather got them on one game. I think it was actually scheduled for the Thursday of the big storm. They tried to reschedule it for the following Tuesday. Well, because of the big storm, the girls basketball team here at Mt Vernon advanced to the sectional championship, which was going to be played on Tuesday, so then that game had to be bumped again. So, again, Coach Rhodes and his staff have had plenty of time to watch film. They've had plenty of time to come up with a game plan. I'm sure they trade film a lot, so they know what Brebeuf's going to do. Hopefully they're going to come out and not be too flat.
And, of course, obviously, they are coming in on a winning streak here tonight, are the Marauders. Their last loss coming against Westfield, that was back on January 4th. And that was a very, very good Westfield team, still good, ranked here in the Class 4A and, of course, in the IBCA coaches poll. But needless to say, you have 2 teams now, both in the IBCA coaches poll, number 11 Mt Vernon and, of course, number 15 Brebeuf. So obviously they play in 2 separate classes, but that ranking in the IBCA coaches poll goes to show you how closely these teams are matched up.
Well, both of these coaches understand the importance of strength of schedule. Neither team is afraid to schedule up, for lack of a better term. They're playing bigger schools. They're trying to challenge their kids. Certainly both of them are in a conference. You want to win your conference championship. But if it's not a conference game, no sense in putting a cupcake in here and beating them 85-9. Get somebody in here that's going to challenge your kids. Get your kids ready for the tournament.
And, of course, you take a look at the 2 Dynamo players for Mt Vernon, Armand and Ahmad Gerard, both going to IUPUI next season, going to be playing for the Jags. Of course, probably some much-needed talent that the Jags desperately need after the Jags are not having the best of seasons this year, only winning 2 games. But on the other side, though, you have Billy Smith going to be going to Miami of Ohio next season, averaging 9 points per contest for Brebeuf.
Yeah, now he's definitely a big-time player, and that's somebody that, again, you've had 2 weeks to prepare. Hopefully you got a defensive scheme that can at least slow him down. He's going to get his points, but you don't want him to go crazy and get 28 or 30 because that's when you lose.
So we're getting set to go here in a very raucous home of the Marauders here inside of Mt Vernon High School. You're going to be having one of the Gerard players. That's going to be Armand Gerard, going to be squaring off with the very tall and very stout Mariel Puau, the senior, who's averaging 7 points per contest for Brebeuf Jesuit. Opening tip, and it's controlled by the Marauders. We're underway here inside of Mt Vernon here in Fortville.
You know, one of the things to note, too, Kurt, is that Brebeuf has a lot of seniors. I mean, they have 8 seniors, 1 junior, and 1 sophomore. A lot of their scoring is all in the 12th grade.
Ahmad Gerard going to be trying to get it inside here. This time it's Rajon Wells who gets the start tonight. He's one of the bigger players. As you can see, averaging just shy of 10 points per contest is he for the Marauders.
And the few times that I've seen him play, he's had good games.
And he gets it inside, spin off the glass, gets the shot, and will draw the and one opportunity. And that's exactly what you want to see out of Ray Wells, game in and game out, if you're head coach Ben Rhodes.
And that is his game. He's going to be down on the block. Now, they'll also bring him up to the free throw line, pass him the ball. He immediately turns around. He's actually like one of the team leaders in assists, so he can distribute the ball. But what you saw there was the ball on the block. He's going to try to give a little shake and bake move, which is what he did. Get the defender up in the air, draw the contact, finish at the rim. Nice job by Ray Wells.
And he converts the and one opportunity, so an early 3-0 lead here for the Marauders. But now we get to see the offense of Brebeuf Jesuit here for the first time this ball game. They are shooting about 49% from the field, are they? But they're averaging around 63 points per contest. And a lot of those coming from Paul Stubblefield, who drains an early 3 for the Braves.
Mt Vernon in a man defense there, and again, Stubblefield just kind of working off screens. And I'll tell you, the guy working the hardest in there was their big fella, Billy Smith, number 11, setting screens like a madman, so he can do it all. He's a well-rounded player.
Smith, a 6'6 senior, outside three, trying to answer, this time coming from Avery Williams.
Big player for them, again, a starter all year long. He was a starter on their state championship football team, just a great athlete. He's kind of a quarterback on the basketball court, for lack of a better term, as Smith fires a three.
And he's just short on that one, but needless to say, he'll eventually find that shot. Back the other side, Gerard tries to answer with another three of his own. That goes a little too strong. Puau comes down with the rebound. He's averaging 7 of those per game. And here you have a good matchup between Reed and Gerard. Back around the horn, Smith tries to fire it again from deep. This time he's too strong after he was too weak the early time. Williams tries another one, gets the bounce. 6 early points here for Avery Williams, all of them from behind the arc.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because the crowd jumped up in front of me. I wasn't sure if his foot was on the line, but at that point, obviously, you look at the officials, wait for the signal, and they gave it. Three-pointer.
Brebeuf still trying to settle into an offensive rhythm here in the early going. Smith, 2 D1 players going at each other right there, and we have a foul. Looks like it's actually going to be pushed out of bounds there, and so it'll remain at Brebeuf Jesuit basketball.
Well, Avery Williams' first foul of the ball game, first foul for Mount Vernon, obviously. So just you're going to see it here. He's going to try to get the steal and then just bumps him out of bounds. Good call by the official there, because I've seen some officials say, nope, guy stepped out of bounds, ball going the other way. Well, he didn't step out of bounds on his own.
It's a bang-bang play.
Yeah, I mean, he got pushed, and that was the impetus for him stepping out.
Stubblefield tries another three-pointer. That goes a little too strong.
Ball kept alive by Billy Smith.
This time it's going to be Gothard for 3. Again, can't do it, but there's Stubblefield for the putback.
Mount Vernon's got to find a way to keep them off the offensive boards. 2 offensive chances. 2 offensive boards gave them 3 chances to score. Well, a team like Brebeuf, you give them 3 chances, so they're going to score.
Stubblefield has all 5 points now for Brebeuf. Meanwhile, there's a nifty pass by Ray Wells to find it down low to Galley. He can't finish, and they're going to call a jump ball here, and the arrow's going to favor Brebeuf.
Yeah, just remember the opening tip went to Mount Vernon, so now the next held ball will go Mount Vernon's way. But, yeah, really neat pass. I tell you, Ray Wells, a big kid, great football player, but really – much better basketball player than you would probably expect just by looking at his body type.
Spin move inside by Smith. He gets his pocket picked, and Galley comes away with it. Long pass this time to Gerard in the corner. He steps back, fires a 3, too short, and Stubblefield with the rebound. Inside of 5 minutes to play now here in the first quarter. Smith looks inside now to Puau. And he's going to be fouled there by Ray Wells. That'll be his first.
Yeah, Ray was doing a really nice job on him, but then he just got a little too much body. What Ray is going to have to do is get him away from the basket a little bit, and you're going to see it right here. He's doing a nice job there, and then there
they're actually going to get Gerard on this.
Oh, really?
Looks like he may have reached in a little bit there. So no foul on Ray Wells. Instead, it's going to be on Gerard. He'll be his first. Smith into the lane. Can't quite finish, and Wells grabs the rebound.
Wells giving up about 5 or 6 inches of height, so he's got to use that body to get Puau out of there.
He tried to thread the needle into Gerard that time, but too much traffic, and Smith comes away with the steal. Smith around the horn to Gothard, back outside. Stubblefield in the corner, too short. Avery Williams with a head of steam, and he gets the floater. Avery Williams with 8 points and a timeout called by Mount Vernon.
Well, Coach Howard obviously has seen enough. He wants to talk about Mount Vernon called Coach Rhodes. All right. No, actually, they just pointed to Brebeuf. Yeah,
so Brebeuf calls a 30-second timeout here as we take a look at the replay. And what a shot there by Avery Williams.
And it's one of those things where, and you've seen basketball coaches do it forever, where honestly, I thought it wasn't a very good shot. I thought he was pushing the ball. It was basically a 1-on-3. And you're going to see him here. There's 2 defenders right there in the picture. Another one's kind of there. But when it goes in, you're like, nice shot, kid. But when it goes up, you're like, no. And then when it goes in, you're like, all right.
And he tried to draw a foul right there, but didn't quite get the call. But needless to say here, it is an excellent start for Mount Vernon. But if you're Brebeuf Jesuit, obviously you just kind of got to settle into an offensive rhythm on the other side.
That's the thing. I mean, it seems like they're just running a lot of motion against this weave where you see it right there. It's kind of like similar to the old Harlem Globetrotter weave and then give it to your good guy there.
Smith finally hits from deep.
There's your offensive philosophy. Give it to the good guy. He seems to be better than the other kids.
Smith shooting 31% from behind the arc this season. He's averaging just shy of 20 points per contest, has a season high of 35 in a game against Cathedral. Ray Wells on the elbow. Puts inside, no foul call, kicks it back out. Gerard can't quite finish. Back come the Braves. Stubblefield, some nice globetrotter weaving outside. Smith for another three, he can't convert. And there's going to be a foul, kind of a bang-bang play there, and they're going to get Reed for a blocking foul.
Yeah, not a lot that Zach Reed could have done there. He was going for the ball, and then unfortunately for him, Avery Williams beat him to it, and then his momentum carried him into it for the foul.
Still Ray Wells, you know, he's making a lot of noise down low there as you see the foul there on Avery Williams. Of course, talking to Coach Ben Rhodes about Ray Wells, he compared him to DeJuan Jones, who is now an offensive lineman at Ohio State, but was also an excellent basketball player at Ben Davis in his time in high school. Gerard gets the rebound and scores. Armand Gerard, the first Gerard twin to get his name in the scorer's sheet this evening.
Mount Vernon making the offensive rebound work for them.
Brebeuf trying to keep it close here. Reed tries to find an opening. Instead, Stubblefield tries it, but is blocked by Gerard, and Ahmad Gerard comes back and jams it right off of the block on the three-pointer, and Ahmad Gerard gets his first 2 points.
You could see that one coming a mile away, Kurt. Coach Howard's already used one timeout, doesn't want to use another one, but had he not used one here, that would have been a good time to call one.
Mount Vernon in control right now. Reed tries to break the stalemate here for Brebeuf, and there's another throwaway there and another turnover by Brebeuf Jesuit. Billy Smith got that one away from him. Galley looks inside to Ray Wells, working on Pual, and he gets the floater over the big man.
Really nice soft touch there. That's hard to do. I mean, when you're giving up 5 or 6 inches of height and those long arms on Pual, and he was able to get it done.
It's certainly an interesting matchup how you have, as you get a foul there on Brebeuf as Gerard goes for the steal. But it's an interesting matchup, Jim, about how you have Ray Wells, who is surrendering a little bit of height but has a lot more body. Meanwhile, you have the surrendering of body but more height with Brebeuf Jesuit there in Pual.
Well, so far, Wells has been able to use that extra weight, that extra girth to kind of just push him further away from the bucket. And then, honestly, when he gets the ball down on the block, finish. And there's a
nice look at that replay again from the dunk by Gerard. And it's Ahmad Gerard with the basketball now. He hands it on to his brother. Ray Wells with it. Kicks it back outside. 3 ball this time from Sullivan. Can't quite get the lucky roll. And here's another steal. Gerard hits his brother, and he thinks better of it and sets up the offense.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised here if they just don't get real patient. I'm not saying they won't try to score here, but they're just not in a real big hurry. You're up 17-8, clock ticking down less than 20. So be patient here. Now, if you get it, you get it a layup or something, take it, but don't have to be in a hurry.
So this is the largest lead of the ball game right now for Mount Vernon at 9 points. As we tick inside 10 seconds, Gerard's just going to pull it up from the wing, and just in and out. They give Brebeuf a chance here to cut into the lead. Smith has to get rid of it, and the shot will not count. No shot, and that will be the end of quarter number 1. Mount Vernon in control by 9, 17-8. Going to quarter number 2 next on 9 Star TV.
At 9 Star Connect, we're a different kind of utility. We're a nonprofit cooperative owned by our members, the friends and neighbors we serve. We work for you. So we're committed to delivering dependable and affordable electricity to over 17,000 homes, schools, and businesses. And we know the best internet service is all about speed and reliability. We deliver both over our high-speed fiber optic network throughout East Central Indiana. At 9 Star Connect, we are a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
getting set for quarter number 2 here at Mt Vernon High School in Fortville. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the HHC standings. Obviously tonight, Jim, not a conference game for the Marauders, but needless to say, looking pretty good at 5-0 in conference play here going to the latter half of the season.
Well, and a huge game coming up between those New Palestine Dragons you see there in second place, 4-1, just a game behind. Two teams, again, 14 wins apiece, having a great year. Newcastle's having a great year. Greenfield is 10-7 there, but believe me, they've lost 2 overtime games that they very easily could have won. Their situation could be 12-5. So, I mean, it's going to be a great sectional when they sectional 9 when they all get together. But that big Mount Vernon game coming up here in a couple weeks, really looking forward to it.
Indeed it is. So that's going to be coming up on February 18th. That'll be the second to last game on Mount Vernon's schedule before they close things out on the road against Yorktown. So 2 conference games to close out the regular season for Mount Vernon. Meanwhile, they have to deal with the Brebeuf Jesuit Braves as they are out to a 9-point advantage, being led right now by Avery Williams, who has 8 points in the early going. And the Girard twins couldn't quite get in a big rhythm, but obviously Ahmad Girard got things rolling with a huge dunk. And now Armand Girard keeps the momentum rolling with a 3.
Excellent ball movement there. Williams drives the lane, kicks it back out to the top of the key, immediately over to the wing, and a nice easy bucket.
So Mount Vernon really pouring it on here in the early going. Getting right into the lane. There it looked like that was Duran Bire, who checks into the ball game for the first time, adds some size off of the bench. And you also see Jake Hogan doing the exact same thing, the senior.
And bringing the heat here, full court press.
Avery Williams into the lane. The full court press is nothing for him. He has 10 points already.
Yeah, that's the best way to defeat that thing is just take it right down Main Street and lay it in over the rim. Keep the ball in the middle of the court. Anytime you're being pressured, even in the half court, if you can keep the ball in the middle of the court and give yourself a 3-way go.
Billy Smith goes along the left side of the lane, and he's going to draw a foul. And so they're going to give this one to, going to be Ray Wells. That'll be his first and the third on Mount Vernon here this half. Meanwhile, Billy Smith at the line this season, shooting a very reliable 85%, and he hits the first one.
Well, that is, again, a little bit of a defensive mismatch there. I don't know that Coach Rhodes wanted Ray Wells checking Smith. Just a little bit too much of an athletic player around Ray, and he was able to beat him and then get 2 at the free throw line.
Full court press again coming from Brebeuf, and it pays off for him this time, forcing the turnover. Cameron Freeman with a head of steam. He has Reed in the corner, just off the mark, but Billy Smith with a big rebound and a good second chance opportunity for the senior.
Well, that's 4 points now that they've given up on the offensive boards. Mount Vernon has got to get some rear ends on some guys.
Avery Smith is hot from outside and inside.
And I'll tell you what, Todd Howard is going, who in the world is Avery Williams? I mean, the guy averages about 8, and he's got 13 already? Or
he has 13 points on my stat sheet. Smith tries to answer from deep, just off of the mark. And Girard comes away with the rebound. Puts it ahead now to Bridenthal, who slips into the lane and gets it off of the glass over Billy Smith. And another timeout going to be called here by Todd Howard. He has seen enough. Certainly not happy right now with the momentum that Brebeuf has been able, or rather Mount Vernon has been able to build.
Well, you watch Eli Bridenthal here. You got to basically don't give him the baseline if you're Brebeuf, and that's exactly what they do. And he does a nice job of, again, very soft touch right up underneath there. And again, you don't want to call another timeout, but you're down 15. You got to do something. One of the things that you got to do is, if I'm Coach Howard, I'm going to ask my kids, can anybody guard Williams? If you can't get out, and then I'll look at my bench and say, if I ask my bench, can anybody guard Williams, I want 8 guys to stand up and run to the scorer's table, and then I'll pick the one I want. But right now, Avery Williams is killing them, and you know what? The Girard kids haven't even got on track yet.
No, exactly. In fact, both of the Girard twins combined right now have 7 points between them.
Yeah.
Which is, these are two players that average between themselves north of 30 points per contest. So,
and we had the big dunk, but again, as pretty as it was, it's still only 2 points.
So out of the timeout, Brebeuf tries to settle things down here. Bire gets it back over to Reed, and he Euro steps into the lane, loses the handle, Loose ball corralled. Smith somehow comes away with it. And now he'll fire in traffic, in and out. Loose ball fought for, and a big rebound corralled there by Mount Vernon. And that's going to be George Burhen into the lineup tonight.
Burhen, a defensive end tight end on the football team.
This time Williams gets a little bit of a heat check there from outside.
Got to throw it up there, though, as hot as he's been. He might have been just a little bit out of his range. He was about 3 feet behind the arc. He's probably more of a kid that shoots right at the line. Mount Vernon again going to pull it out a little bit, be a little patient.
Gerard working now on Bire. As we tick now to the 5-minute mark here in this second quarter. In the corner, and a 3-ball is good there for Eli Bridenthal. He now has 5 points off of the bench here for Mount Vernon.
No, he actually shoots pretty well from the arc there for a big kid.
Oh, and some miscommunication there on the drive from Freeman. He tried to find Bire and instead throws it out of bounds. Another turnover, and this is a team, Jim, that averages just north of 11 turnovers per game. They're approaching that already here in this half.
Yeah, they're I think, right at halfway there. And nice job there. Unfortunately, he faked out his teammate, too. He faked out the defender, but his teammate also said, okay, you're going to the rim. I'm going to go in there and try to get a board. And unfortunately, he had another idea and tried to throw it back to him.
So it's out to an 18-point advantage here for Mount Vernon, which is the largest lead of the ball game now.
Ray Wells back in here and just, gets Burhen comes in, does his job.
And Brebeuf kind of doing an extended zone defense here. Outside, Williams had a little bit of an opening there, but didn't take it. Wells on the elbow. And Gerard had the cut, but it was well defended there by Michael Irk, the 6'1" senior here for Brebeuf. And this time, Brebeuf's defense really keeping him outside this time. Williams gets it back out. Gerard goes along the baseline in traffic. Can't finish at the rim. A nice defensive possession there by Brebeuf.
Yeah, a lot of traps, a lot of guys going different directions.
And spin move inside by Reed. He tries to get the and one. It'll be 2 shots coming up for Zach Reed on the foul on Mount Vernon.
On Bridenthal.
So that'll be his first. And only the 4th here on Mount Vernon.
Nice spin move in there, and right there you just saw him, hooked him on the left arm. Little surprised at Mount Vernon. I mean, when you're up as much as you are and Brebeuf's going to try to play that trapping zone half court, well, just back it out. I mean, you can let the clock go away. You don't have to go in there. You don't have to dribble into the teeth of the defense.
And so that'll be Zach Reed's first point of the ball game, and he gets his second there on that made free throw. Reed's a player that averages only around 3 points per contest, but he's 80% from the line whenever he gets there.
And so now Brebeuf's going to step it out, as you see there.
And an alley-oop to Gerard. 2 dunks for the senior. What a play. 4 points for Gerard off of 2 dunks. That is the extent of his scoring so far tonight. 3-ball doesn't fall there for Michael Irk. Gerard back on the other side. Ahmad Gerard still feeling the high from that alley-oop. Goes back outside. Bridenthal for another 3. Back-to-back threes for Eli Bridenthal whenever he's been shooting.
13 on the season coming in. He's already hit 2.
And so what we expected, Jim, to be kind of a closely contested matchup. Mount Vernon has been in control from start to finish. Meanwhile, Reed tries to stop the bleeding with a 3. First field goal of the night for him.
Just at 2.5 minutes to play. Again, Mount Vernon does not have to be in a huge hurry here. They can be patient. I mean, even the dunk that they got off the alley-oop was a patient play.
Cooper Galley playing the point. Back outside. Armand Gerard tries to hit a 3, but it's a little too strong. Reed back on the other side. Reed, shake and bake inside, can't quite finish. He loses the handle. Galley puts it ahead to Gerard, and another one! 6 points off of 3 dunks for Ahmad Gerard.
And just really good defense. I mean, he's not cherry picking. It's not the deal where, you wait on a teammate to get a steal and you're already standing in half court. I mean, he's playing good basketball, and then he's just breaking when he sees the opportunity, and a good job of the other Marauders looking down court.
Puau tries to hit a 3. That's not something he normally does. But back on the other side, Gerard leaves it underneath for Ray Wells, using the big body in traffic. And another timeout going to be called by Brebeuf Jesuit. That's 3 timeouts now that they have called in this first half, and it's likely going to be a full timeout because I believe they've already used their 2 30-second timeouts. No, they called a full timeout the first time, but now they've called their second 30-second timeout.
Yeah, I think Coach Roach is asking because he's saying, wait a minute, why do they have another 30? But I tell you what, he's calling these timeouts to break the momentum. It's yet to work. Hasn't worked yet. You're going to see this play here where big dunk again. He's good playing good defense, and I think that's Puau that. No, it's 21 there. It was.
That's going to be Duran Bire.
Yeah, Bire wisely decided, you know what, I could go up and foul him. He'd probably still finish the dunk, and then it's a 3-point play, or I can just get out of the way. And he wisely chose to get out of the way.
So it's interesting to see here how Ahmad Gerard, he literally, whenever he has scored, he has literally touched the rim. He has put his hands on the rim for all the 6 of the points that he has scored. I know that's kind of a broken record to say, but it's just uncanny to think about how he's done all of his scoring literally at the 10-foot mark above the floor.
And the rest of the team's done a nice job from the arc, and Wells is good on the block, so it's really, really hard to defend when you got one guy just dominated inside and others playing well outside.
Speaking of dominating inside, you've got Billy Smith, who is back into the ball game after sitting out for a few minutes, obviously getting us some rest. And you really need him to kind of start putting the team on his shoulders if you're Coach Todd Howard.
Very athletic there, nice spin move. And again, that's just not what you want. You don't want Ray Wells guarding him. That's a bad situation for Ray. It's just, you can't. And I know there's screens and then your switches and different things. Ray's probably going to lose that one every time.
Billy Smith hits the and one opportunity. He's now 3 for 3 from the charity stripe this evening. There's one bright spot here for Brebeuf. They are 5 for 5 from the line as a team.
And both these teams shoot the ball pretty well. I mean, you look at the 3 metrics, you got free throw percentage and 3-point percentage and field goal percentage, and they're all pretty good.
Inside a minute to play, Galley tries a 3, and that's just off the mark. Brebeuf trying to further cut into this lead as Butcher spins to the glass, and he can't finish at the rim. Armand Gerard has Williams, who's open for another one, too strong. Long pass to Smith. He pulls up from the corner and is just short right there in spite of the fact he had a wide open lane to the rim. Avery back the other way, and Avery Williams in some traffic.
Yeah, I started to say Avery's kind of cooling off a little bit, and then, of course, he goes down and scores.
And give the assist to Armand Gerard as Bire spins into the lane and hits the hook shot. And that's his first points of the ball game. 2 seconds left at the buzzer. Doesn't fall for Eli Bridenthal. So a dominating first half here for Mount Vernon. They lead by 19 points going to halftime. Back in a minute here on 9 Star TV.
Who knew that 9 Star Connect, a local smart utility, has the fastest internet in Indiana? 9 Star offers speeds up to 2 gig. That's upload and download speeds. Try getting that from any other provider. No data limits or caps on speed. The speed you pay for is the speed you get. 9 Star has state-of-the-art fiber optics with a dedicated line to each house. 9 Star Connect, Indiana's fastest internet. Who knew?
Welcome back here to Mount Vernon High School. The halftime score is 41-22, a dominating first half by the Marauders. Well, it's halftime here at Mount Vernon High School, and we would like to recognize and thank the Corey Cross Foundation for sponsoring and being a part of bringing you tonight's broadcast. The Corey Cross Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to compassionately providing financial and emotional support to families with children fighting cancer. CCF was created in remembrance of Corey and the support received during his courageous 4.5-year battle. On your screen, you can see information regarding their upcoming Roaring Twenties themed fundraising event. This event will include dinner, dancing, and an auction, and much, much more. Will be held at the DRW Farms in Charlottesville, Indiana, and is scheduled for March 12th. Pre-purchase ticket sales will be limited to 200, so don't delay. Please visit the website displayed on your screen to purchase tickets or learn about sponsorship opportunities. Donations for the auctions are also greatly appreciated. To find out more information about Corey and the foundation, please visit www.coreycrossfoundation.com. Thanks again to the Corey Cross Foundation for helping to bring you tonight's broadcast on 9 Star TV.
My name is Patty Potty, and I'd like to talk to you about all those kinds of convenience products. People are flushing down the toilet, clogging up our sewer system, and causing expensive repair bills. They might flush down, but they sure don't flush out. Make sure you trash them. Don't flush them, only flush the 3 P's. Pee, poo, and paper. Toilet paper, that is. And remember, no wipes in those pipes.
This important message was brought to you by 9 Star Connect, your water and sewer provider.
Getting set for second half action here inside of Mt Vernon High School alongside Jim Leisure. I'm Kurt Darling. Thanks so much again for joining us here tonight on 9 Star TV. Jim, obviously a pretty out of control first half when it comes to Brebeuf's standpoint, because you've allowed Mt Vernon now to get out to a 19-point advantage going into the second half. Obviously, if you're Mt Vernon, you're feeling really comfortable. If you're Coach Todd Howard for Brebeuf, what are you telling your team at halftime?
Well, the first thing you got to do is we got to get stops, okay? We don't have to obviously stop them every time up the floor, but we've got to get some stops. We've got to get rebounds. We cannot give up second chance points, no offensive boards. And then once we get those stops, guys, we got to go down and we got to convert. If you can do that 3, maybe 4 times, claw back into this, either, some 2s, some 3s. Now all of a sudden, the lead goes from 19 to 12. You got a shot. If you don't do that, you're in trouble. Mt Vernon's awfully good offensively, and if you're just going to give them points, you can't trade baskets here. If you do, you're going to lose by 19.
And, of course, you've been seeing a lot of this from Ahmad Gerard tonight. He has 3 dunks for 6 points. But that's the thing, though, Jim. That's the extent of his scoring tonight. Don't get me wrong. Mt Vernon's doing a lot right as far as everyone else, but if you're the Gerard twins, you only have 7 points between them right now. Obviously, you really want to try and establish that, because knowing that Brebeuf, they know how to play in the second half. They've had 4 overtime games this season. They know how to deal with sticky situations.
Well, one of the things coming into the ballgame that struck me was that Mt Vernon has 6 players who average 5 or more. And so it's not just the Gerard twins, although the 2 of them are very good and can kill you if you don't guard them. But, they got 4 other guys that can score, and that's really Avery Williams has got 15. He averages 8. You look at Bridenthal. Bridenthal normally averages 5.5, and he's got 8. So if you're going to check the Gerard twins, Mt Vernon can still beat you. You got to defend all 5 of them.
Indeed you do, but also Billy Smith on the other side, he leads the scoring for Brebeuf Jesuit with 10 points, but needless to say, he needs to kind of get a move on here and kind of put the team on his shoulders, seeing as how he's not really getting much production elsewhere from the rest of the squad.
Yeah, he's halfway to his average of 20, but, at the same time, it has been a somewhat quiet 10. 3 of them came from the line.
So Brebeuf starts the second half with the basketball here, 19-point advantage for Mt Vernon. Stubblefield, he's had a big first half. He tries to keep that going. It looked like someone may have gotten a hand on it, but there's Alex Gothard to try and clean things up and get the putback.
Well, it's the same way defensively. Brebeuf has to keep Mt Vernon off the boards on those second chance points. Mt Vernon just gives up their 3rd offensive rebound bucket of the ballgame. That's 6 points they've given up just by not blocking out.
And Gothard averages around 7 points per contest. He was held scoreless in that first half. Williams working it inside to Wells. Again going one-on-one here with Puau. And he uses that body yet again, and that's really been a weapon for Way Wells tonight.
Well, Mario Puau is going to have to get a little more physical. He doesn't have any fouls. So, you know what, at some point you've got to fight back. You can't let Wells push you down like that.
Brebeuf keeping pace now. And there's a steal by Ahmad Gerard, and this time he opts to lay it up and he misses it. Might be a little bit of a hint there. Smith back the other way. A little too short. And a nice box out by Wells to let it go out of play and give the ball back to the Marauders.
Very smart play by Rashawn there because, again, like you said, he almost blocked him out. Rashawn could have went over and grabbed the basketball, but his momentum may have carried him out of bounds, so he decided to tap the brakes and just keep the Brebeuf player away from it, let it go out of bounds harmlessly and take the possession.
Brebeuf trying to avoid their first series of back-to-back losses this season. They've lost 5 games this season, but they have never lost 2 games consecutively. Wells, and a nice dish inside to Williams, but he couldn't quite finish it. And it's turned back over to Brebeuf.
Well, we talked earlier in the ball game how Rashawn is like second or third in the team in assists, which is, from your 5 spot, that's kind of unique. But the way they use him at the top of the key or the free throw line extended, he gets a lot of those passes where he picks up assists.
And Stubblefield can't handle the pass towards him. He goes out of play. And back-to-back turnovers here from both teams.
Now, Coach Howard just shaking his head over there again. They think they had 7 or 8 turnovers in the first half. They've already got 2, and we've only played about 2 minutes of this third quarter.
Todd Howard, the head coach of Brebeuf, former head coach of the IUPUI women. And there's a steal by his Braves. Gothard kicks it outside to Smith. Briefly loses the handle, somehow puts it up, but can't get it to go in.
Well, Mount Vernon's second turnover of the half, so both teams trading turnovers.
Galley tries to get the no-look pass to Wells, but he's not quite in position to get it. So 2 turnovers in a row here for the Marauders as Smith looks into the corner to Stubblefield, and a nice take into the rim. Now a timeout going to be called by Mount Vernon here as Coach Rhodes a little bit perplexed here at the start here for the Marauders as here in the early going, Brebeuf has been able to outscore him here only by about 6-2 or so.
Well, you're going to see this nice job here. Again, he's got a plan. He's already right now thinking, what am I going to do? He realizes there's no defender. He just kind of stops in the middle of his drive, so to speak, and lays it right up over the rim. So, yeah, 3 turnovers from Mount Vernon. I like the timeout here by Coach Rhodes. Just reminding the young man, hey, guys, let's relax. We've got a nice big lead here. Just play Mount Vernon basketball, move the ball, space the floor, and let's get some points.
Meanwhile, we get set for another broadcast here on 9-Star TV. February 18th, Pendleton Heights is on the road at Shenandoah. You can join my broadcast partner, Jim Leisure, and Rob Conant on the call. A tip-off going to be at 2 p.m. On the next day replay, but also tip-off at 7 o'clock, going to be on 9-Star TV. You can catch that right here on the YouTube channel as well as wherever 9-Star streams. Getting back to the action here tonight, though. It is still a 17-point advantage for Mount Vernon, but Brebeuf is starting to feel a little bit of rhythm and forcing a few turnovers. Wells again working on Puau. Trying to create a mismatch there. They don't take.
And that's where you want it, right there.
And Gerard forces another one to Irk on the turnover. Zach Reed up top.
We talked about Brebeuf getting some defensive stops. Now they got to convert offensively.
Nice dish inside to Puau, and there is a mismatch. And a nice take by Mariel Puau, who gets his first 2 points. So 2 of the last 3 buckets by Brebeuf players have come for the first time tonight by both Gothard and Puau.
A little bit of a 6-2 run by Brebeuf here. This is how you do it. Just chip away at it.
Gerard has to push it back outside to Williams as we approach the halfway mark of this third quarter. And another turnover by Mount Vernon. So you now have 5 turnovers after your last 7 takes on offense here to start the third quarter. And Brebeuf is slowly chipping away, as you said, Jim Leisure.
Well, and again, Coach Rhodes has got 2 people coming in, Breidenthal and Burhan both, and that's one of those deals. And I remember my old coach in high school, Ed Friege, used to say the first 5 guys at the scorer's table are in. He was just sick of watching it, and it just mass substitution.
So you have Williams and Gerard on the bench now as Brebeuf tries to work the offense. Smith up top for 3. A little too much juice on that one, and the rebound comes to the hands of Breidenthal. Galley kicks it back outside. Up top to Wells. Wells working on Puau again. This time the shot too strong. Nearly an offensive rebound by Brightenthal. They're going to say it was out of bounds on Brebeuf after it was corralled.
Yeah, that time Ray Wells just tried to take the big kid to the rim and was hoping to get a little contact, maybe get a call. Didn't get the call, couldn't finish.
Long inbound to Burhen, and they're going to get a foul on Brebeuf. Pretty good call there by the officials to get Michael Irk, who was just getting one too many hands there on Burhen going for the inbound.
Yeah, you're going to see him grab him right on the wrist. And right out there at the top of the key, not a tough call to make.
So that's the first foul on Irk, the first of the half. And believe it or not, Jim, is the fact that fouls have not really been a big issue here for Brebeuf tonight. That's only their third foul all night long.
Yeah, and again, really hadn't been played into it at all, really, for Mount Vernon. Nobody really in foul trouble. Referees have let them play a little bit, and that's fine. I mean, normally you can tell early on if a crew's going to call all the little touch stuff, and if they do, you adjust.
Galley goes behind the back, but well defended there by Reed. And Gerard again trying to hit Burhen on the cut inside, and another turnover by Mount Vernon.
What?
6 turnovers now.
Yeah, if turnovers were points, Mount Vernon would be outscoring Brebeuf by now, but unfortunately they're not.
Approaching the 3-minute mark. And Gothard will kick it back out to Reed. Reese Butcher back into the ball game off the bench for Brebeuf. Irk cutting inside to Smith. Outside, Butcher for 3. And just off the front of the rim. And the loose ball is going to be taken by Gerard. Ahmad Gerard will, again, wisely pump the brakes and set up the offense.
Yeah, again, wisely is the correct word there. You don't really need to go in there and force a shot. You still got a big lead.
And again, this time he makes the layup happen. And so that's the first shot that he has made tonight, Jim Leisure. That is not a dunk. He has 8 points. Smith into the lane, blocked out of bounds. A nice play by Eli Brightenthal. And Billy Smith looked like he may have wanted a foul there.
I don't know. It looked like a pretty clean block to me. And then as Smith, you're going to see it here.
Working on him. All ball at the ball anyway.
Correct. And there may have been some contact around the hips, but not much. I think it didn't really affect the play.
And they're going to say that was out of bounds on Billy Smith, so you get the block out of bounds and the ball. So a nice play there by Brightenthal. Armand Gerard. And Galley nearly breaking the ankles of Zach Reed there. Gerard pulls up from just inside the wing. And a little too much juice on that one. 90 seconds left to go in the quarter. And Reed, a little out of control going to the basket, but looks like they're going to get Galley for a blocking foul. And indeed, that is the call.
I didn't think it was really a foul until the very end. Well, right there, yeah. Okay.
May have been a hand check that they got them for. So that's the first foul on Mount Vernon this half, and the 5th on them all game long. So fouls, again, not of much concern for the Marauders as well. Smith off the inbound, and he hits a big 3 for the Braves. 13 points for him.
Yeah, Smith has just been off a little bit. He shot a three-pointer earlier that really almost didn't even barely got the rim, and looks like he's starting to get a little bit more of his rhythm back.
Brebeuf Jesuit outscoring Mount Vernon right now, 11-4 here in the quarter. The Braves were down by 19 points at the half, rather 18 points, and we have another foul. And they're going to get Cam Freeman for his first. So precisely 1 minute on the clock as we get a look here at the foul. Galley off of the inbound, tries the reverse, and another foul going to be coming up on Freeman as he got, again, another one too many hands on Galley.
Well, Galley gets the basketball, and you're always supposed to take away the baseline, and he doesn't do it, so he figures, I'm just going to go in there and reverse it, and he does draw the foul here.
And so Cooper Galley has certainly turned in some good minutes tonight on the floor, but that's the first time that he's actually scored here with that free throw.
87% from the line. He's hit 27 coming in, so that was his 28th of the season.
Cooper Galley has also started every game for Mount Vernon since he began play as a sophomore. And he hits both free throws. Inside of a minute. And Smith is going to get fouled there by Ray Wells. That'll be his second. Rather, they're going to get 3 on Ray Wells.
I had him for 3 as well. I had him for that being his third. And, it's funny because the last 2 possessions, there's contact there, but I don't know. They've been letting him play through that and just seeing whether or not the guy can finish at the rim or whatever.
Cameron Freeman gets it back up top to Reed. Smith tries another 3, and he hits back-to-back trays, does the senior.
Brebeuf really doing a nice job, and we talked at halftime, Kurt, and I said, I get a feeling that it's not over, even though it was 19 points. Brebeuf needs a few stops, which they've got, helped by 6 Mount Vernon turnovers, and then you got to convert, and Billy Smith, 2 3-pointers, going to be a foul out top.
And we have a foul away from the ball here. And they're going to get Cameron Freeman with 3 straight fouls for the Braves. Meanwhile, this is the closest that the game has been. 13 points the deficit right now for Brebeuf. This is the closest it's been since early in the second quarter.
Cameron Freeman with 3 fouls here and almost single-handedly put Mount Vernon in the 1-on-1 here.
And now another foul. And that one looked to be slightly intentional there by Gothard. They're not going to call the intentional foul, though, but obviously kind of stopping things off here to try and give Brebeuf a little bit more of a setup on defense.
Yeah, if this was fourth quarter and 2 minutes to play, under 2 minutes, I would have thought that's exactly what that was the intentional foul to stop the clock.
At the buzzer, Gerard puts it down from three-point land to end the quarter. Certainly wasn't the best quarter by the Marauders, but that's certainly a way to end it if you're Mount Vernon. 50-34, fourth quarter coming up next on 9 Star TV.
At 9 Star Connect, we're a different kind of utility. We're a nonprofit cooperative owned by our members, the friends and neighbors we serve. We work for you. So we're committed to delivering dependable and affordable electricity to over 17,000 homes, schools, and businesses. And we know the best internet service is all about speed and reliability. We deliver both over our high-speed fiber optic network throughout East Central Indiana. At 9 Star Connect, we are a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Quarter number 4 about to get underway here on 9 Star TV alongside Jim Leisure. I'm Kurt Darling. Jim, well, we still have ourselves quite the ball game here. In spite of the fact that Mount Vernon got outscored in that third quarter, Gerard able to end things on a high note here for the Marauders.
Yeah, that's a big bucket. And, you wonder when this ball game is over, if it does become close, whether or not that 3 points right at the end of the third quarter ends up being the difference.
So Brebeuf outscored Mount Vernon at 12 points to 9 in that third quarter off of 2 big three-pointers from Billy Smith. He now leads all scorers with 16 points, but a glaring thing for me, Jim Leisure, is the fact that Avery Williams, he had 15 points in that first half, held scoreless in that third quarter.
Well, Avery's got the basketball right now, right there at the timeline. We'll see if Mount Vernon can get him involved.
So the final 8 minutes of this ball game left to be played here, and Billy Smith starts things off with a big steal and a run right to the rim for his 18th point of the night.
Just a horribly lazy pass there by Gerard. He just kind of flipped the ball with his right hand, didn't step toward the teammate. There was no snap on the ball. It was just kind of, there it is.
Ray Wells has a brief opening and gets it in transition, or rather in traffic, as it closed up. He now has 11 points. Back the other way, a 3 ball on the way from Gothard, and that's just off of the back of the rim. So both teams exchanging buckets here to start this fourth and final quarter. Mount Vernon trying to get their 9th win in a row. Last loss dating back to Westfield in early January. Avery Williams, a little too short. Gets his own rebound though, but then loses it, gives it right to Zach Reed. No look pass to Smith, and he is just short on that 3 ball. But an offensive rebound there by Gothard, and now he's double teamed and splits the defenders. Kicks it back outside, and Reed with a big conversion from behind the arc. I will say this, Jim Leisure, Brebeuf is starting to figure their way out of some tight situations.
Well, and helped along by Mount Vernon. I mean, I love the fact that Avery Williams gets the offensive board off his miss, but then he drives the lane, and instead of saying, you know what, let's just take some time off the clock here, dribble it out.
Oh, and an offensive foul away from the ball. They're going to get Ray Wells, it appears. As you saw some bodies hit the floor, it was Gothard, and no, it's actually going to be Armand Girard picking up his first. It looked like it was Ray Wells getting in there, but they're going to get Girard with that one.
That's actually a benefit for Mount Vernon because that would have been Ray's 4th. But to finish the point on Avery, you know, he gets the board and he has the opportunity to take it and get it back outside. Instead, he tries to force it inside to Ray Wells among 2 defenders, creates a turnover. They go down and hit a 3. That's a 5-point swing.
Turnovers have certainly been the glaring point here this second half for the Marauders. But they get a turnover right there, and Girard goes right to the rim, and they're going to get a foul here on Stubblefield. And so that is indeed the call as Stubblefield picks up foul number 1. And that is Brebeuf's 6th. And this is a shooting foul, but the next foul for Brebeuf puts Mount Vernon in the bonus.
And the Marauders shoot 72% from the line, which is pretty good. You know, it's not much of a strategy for Brebeuf to put them at the line if they're going to hit 7 out of 10, but now you got to get up there and do it.
Girard himself is 76%, and he hits 2 free throws. He has 10 points. 18 points between the Girard twins tonight for Mount Vernon. Cameron Freeman playing with 3 fouls. He has it on the wing. Can't convert. Girard splitting the defenders. No look pass to Ray Wells. He doesn't finish. Tipped out of bounds by Brebeuf. Reese Butcher the last one to touch it.
Yeah, Reese Butcher just gets in there and tries to corral it, but can't come up with a big break for the Marauders here again. You got to do something with this possession. Nice pass, nice no look. And you see Reese kind of tries to swing it and grab it. Couldn't come up with it.
Ray Wells averaging just shy of 10 points per contest. Season high 23 points against Greenfield Central earlier this season. And he gets the end one right there.
Well, I said you don't want to make this an empty possession, and that's a big deal here. Rashawn gets his, let's see, I'm looking at 11 points for him. You see the replay here, puts it on the floor, goes up strong. The foul's right there. And Ray's 57% from the line, not where you want to be.
But he's had 1 and 1 tonight. And he gets another one. And so I have him now for 14 points.
And you may be right. Again, at halftime, or at the end of that third quarter, I realized I had missed a bucket or 2. So apologies.
That's why we keep the unofficial scorebook up here.
My scorebook is always very unofficial.
So it's back to an 18-point advantage for Mount Vernon. They've been able to keep Brebeuf again at arm's length, but Billy Smith is doing all he can as he now has 20 points to tie his season average.
Very nice athletic move by the youngster.
Again, Billy Smith committed to play Miami of Ohio next year. The shot doesn't fall there for Mount Vernon. And wide open underneath is Bire for Brebeuf.
So Brebeuf's going to bring the defense out a little bit here. It's not necessarily pressure. It's just going to force the issue here.
But now if you're Mount Vernon, you're in a position to really wind some clock if you have to.
Yeah, and if Brebeuf just stays back, then Mount Vernon will just stand there and dribble the ball. But by bringing the defender out, starts the count, the 5-second count.
So Galley has to make something happen as he keeps playing a game of keep away. Ray Wells working inside on the sophomore Butcher. It's tipped out of play, and they say it's off of Wells.
Yeah, you know, Mount Vernon, again, this is a great opportunity. There's 4 minutes and 12 seconds to play. Work on your spread offense here a little bit. You know, call it what you want. You know, it's not four corners. It's not a stall, but it's just kind of patient. Let's just get great spacing. Let's move the basketball around. If we get a good shot, let's take it.
Meanwhile, time's starting to wind down for Brebeuf, and helping the cause right there is Gerard picking up his second foul. That'll be the team's fourth of the half.
Still well away from the bonus here, but again, the last thing you want if you're Mount Vernon is to put Brebeuf in the bonus, and then they score while the clock is stopped. If you're Mount Vernon, you're saying roll, clock, roll.
Gothard tries a three from the left wing. No dice there.
Be nice job right there. There was no point in pushing it up the floor. Let's just use 5 to 6 seconds, and again, force Brebeuf to bring that defender out there and start the clock. Good spacing right now for Mount Vernon, right, everybody? This is literally four corners with a guy on the free throw line.
Gerard splits the defenders and kisses it off the glass.
And you'll take that all day. I'm not saying don't run your offense. I'm just saying spread it out and force Brebeuf to defend you.
So 10 points now for Gerard, matching his brother. Billy Smith into the lane and finger rolls it home. 22 points now for Billy Smith. Again, his season high, 35 against Cathedral earlier this season. That was an overtime loss. The third game of the season for Brebeuf.
Now, I strongly doubt he gets there, but he's done a nice job of making this a ball game for himself.
Galley, uncontested, and gets the and one from Bire. Galley's first field goal of the night. He has 2 points from the charity stripe.
Well, just again, a good job of spreading the floor. You see, there's not a white shirt really anywhere in the picture until Ray gets in there late, but spread it, and if they're going to give us the dribble, we'll take them off the dribble. We'll go hit layups.
So that's the third and one converted tonight for Mount Vernon.
Brebeuf, on the other hand, needs to hurry.
62-45 inside of 3 minutes to play. Smith will dump it off to Butcher, and he drains a corner three. And a timeout going to be called here by Todd Howard of Brebeuf.
Well, Coach Howard is still coaching them, obviously. There's an opportunity here, albeit a very slim one, 2 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the game. Down by 14, he's going to sub in. Looks like Zach Reed is going to go in. I'm not sure for who, we'll know here in a second. But wide open three, and he does a nice job of just draining it.
Butcher only averaging about 3 points per contest this season, so right at his average with that shot. The season high of 11 points in a win over Yorktown earlier this season. But so Brebeuf Jesuit, if the result holds as it stands now, will be their first consecutive loss of the season. They're coming off of a loss to Park Tudor. These are also 2 road games in a row that they've had since their last home game, which was a win over a very good Bishop Chittard team. And that's a team, Jim, that's really fallen on some hard times here after starting the season 13-0. They've lost 3 in a row going into this week.
Yeah, you said it. They got out 13-0, and I actually coached at Chittard for years, and I coached at Beech Grove for a minute. I know the Beech Grove head coach, Mike Renfro, who does a fantastic job down there. But I went to that game, and they beat Beech Grove, and I was impressed. I thought, this is a pretty good Chittard team. And then, like you said, I don't know. I don't know if they've had sickness, illness, guys out with COVID or what, but they've certainly come back down to earth, so to speak.
You see Todd Howard there, the head coach of Brebeuf. He spent 4 years as the IUPUI women's head basketball coach before coming back down to the high school ranks. This is now his 8th year as the head coach of Brebeuf. Outside, and taking it in this time is Darren Smith, coming off of the bench here for Mount Vernon, and he draws a foul.
Yeah, Smith's a guy that doesn't get a ton of playing time, but he is another fellow senior. Mount Vernon has 8 of them on the roster, and you see Smith, he's going to go get him some, and gets fouled in the process. Let's see how he does at the line.
Of course, it's homecoming tonight here for Mount Vernon. And Smith shooting 58% on the year. And that is the first miss from the foul line tonight for Mount Vernon.
I'd like to see Darren get in the book here. Use your legs. Finish the shot.
Mount Vernon was 7 for 7 before that miss. And now they are 8 of 9. So Smith adding a point off the bench. Smith steps up. And again can convert. He's been able to hit many shots from behind the arc tonight. And now a full court press from Brebeuf. They're certainly not going to make these last 2 minutes easy for the Marauders.
Well, if you're Mount Vernon now, when you catch the basketball, you better have a plan. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself trapped like that.
Cut to the basket, Bridenthal, and he's going to be fouled from behind by Reese Butcher.
In other words, don't catch the ball and just start looking. Catch the ball and do something with it. Put it on the floor. Go somewhere with it. Get in the middle of the floor. Get the ball down the floor. But don't just catch it and look, because if you do, you're going to get yourself trapped.
So that's foul number 10 on Brebeuf. So Mount Vernon's going to be shooting free throws from here on out with the last minute 50 left to go. Eli Bridenthal, again, another fellow football player for Mount Vernon. And they had to have a couple of games rescheduled to start the season because of Mount Vernon's run to the state finals this year in football.
Good problem to have.
Smith back outside. Cameron Freeman. Butcher puts it on the floor, and Smith will hit another three-pointer. And another timeout going to be called here by Todd Howard. That'll be their 5th and final timeout.
Well, like I said, doing all you can. I mean, I know it's probably a lost cause. I get it. But if you're Coach Howard, every single possession is a teaching opportunity. Every single possession is on film. And whether it goes well or goes poorly, you can learn from it.
And so Mount Vernon will have certainly a lot to learn from here as they have no time to waste. They're back in action tomorrow night as they head back home to take on Tri-West. Tip-off for that game at 7:30. Meanwhile, for Mount Vernon, they're going to be on the road tomorrow. Going to be in Indianapolis to take on Beech Grove. As you so eloquently mentioned earlier, you stopped for a cup of coffee at.
Yeah, I was there for 1 year. Coach Mike Renfro was our quarterbacks coach. He's now the head basketball coach at Beech Grove. He was an assistant under the late Matt English. Matt was a Greenfield Central graduate who went down there, did a nice job with the Beech Grove program. Unfortunately succumbed to brain cancer. And honestly, there was only one guy that really should have got that job if Matt's not there, and that was Mike Renfro. He got it, and I believe he's led him to 3 straight sectional championships. So hats off to Mike, and in a very, very tough situation.
So after tonight, there will only be 4 games left in the regular season for both of these squads, or rather for Mount Vernon in particular. Brebeuf will have 5 games left, but needless to say, we're starting to get down to crunch time here. The sectional selection show from the IHSAA coming up in just a couple weeks' time as Avery Williams will get his first bucket of this second half. He now has 17 points to add to the 15 he had in the first half. But Mount Vernon certainly going to be playing in a sectional to watch this year as you have teams like Anderson, New Pal, even Greenfield Central and Pendleton Heights. A lot of conference opponents, but still you have a lot of teams that can make some noise if they're able to get out of the sectional in that one.
Yeah, don't sleep on Greenfield Central. Coach Meredith has done a nice job of making them very, very competitive. Again, I know they've lost at least 2 overtime games. And, Pendleton's getting better, too. Coach Adam Ballard at Pendleton, those kids are finally getting a little bit of what he's been trying to sell.
And now a foul back on the other side.
So, and as you said, this will be a 2-shot foul because of the double bonus. But so that's a tough sectional 9. It's just going to, a lot of it like it always does every year and has for 100 years, it's going to depend on the draw.
So Galley going to try and add to his point total here. He has 3 made free throws, now 4 made free throws. Meanwhile, Brebeuf Jesuit, they're also going to be playing in a tough sectional. You have Bishop Chatard, as we aforementioned, but also Garin Catholic and Lebanon. Of course, Lebanon going to be the host school there for Brebeuf Jesuit in the sectional round. Needless to say, it's going to be Brebeuf and Bishop Chatard going to be the two teams that are probably going to make the most noise out of that sectional.
But again, don't sleep on the host team, and that's part of Indiana basketball as well.
Oh, yeah. Billy Smith will take it right to the rack, and he's fouled.
A lot of people have asked me from out of state, I said, why in the world? I think it's 9 out of the 10 largest high school gyms in America are in Indiana, and I try to tell them that in the 40s and 50s, communities would have fundraisers and money drives where they would try to build the largest gym they could, because that meant you got to host the sectional.
Yep.
It didn't matter. There were towns, the gym held 9,000 people, and only 4,000 people in town. But you did that so that you could host the sectional.
Case in point, Newcastle Fieldhouse.
Absolutely.
The largest active high school gymnasium in the country, with a just seating capacity of about 9,200 people.
And Richmond just up the road with 8,100, and Seymour and these towns that you would go, really, Seymour? Yeah, Seymour. Seymour got tired of going to Bloomington or wherever and getting their head kicked in, so they built a massive gym so they could host it.
Smith with a big three. So Billy Smith is still pouring it on here to his scoring total. Meanwhile, Mount Vernon just has to get down court. And George Burhan wants to get into the scorer's book, and he does with that bucket. Meanwhile, time continuing to wind down here. Smith tries another three ball. That doesn't go, and Rajon Wells will sprint it up court, pump the brakes, and that should just about do it here at Mount Vernon as the Marauders get their 15th win of the season. Their 9th in a row. They knock off the Braves of Brebeuf Jesuit 70-55. And a pretty all-around good performance here from the Marauders tonight here, Jim.
Yeah, you take away the third quarter and the fact that they just had way too many turnovers. And again, Coach Rhodes will get with his kids, and he'll show them, look, this is how good we can be, right? He'll show them the first and the second quarter and the fourth quarter, and they'll burn the tape on the third quarter. But, Mount Vernon's having a great year. They extend it. Nice job. Like you said, no rest. Got to go play tomorrow.
So the leading scorer tonight for Mount Vernon, believe it or not, was still Avery Williams, in spite of the fact that he was held scoreless in that entire second half. He had 17 points. Billy Smith with an excellent performance tonight, in spite of the fact that he was unable to help the Braves get the win here this evening. And now that's going to be the first time that the Brebeuf all season long has lost 2 games in a row, and they'll have to try and shake it off before they get ready for a matchup here tomorrow night as they go back home against Tri-West.
Yeah, Mount Vernon runs the all-time record between these two ball clubs of 3-1. They won last year's game by 4. I really thought tonight's ball game was going to be similar, maybe a 4 or 5 point ball game. But again, too much Mount Vernon early, and Billy Smith couldn't get untracked in the first half. Now, he did in the second half, but too little too late.
He had 16 points at the end of the third quarter. He did the bulk of his scoring in that fourth quarter, as by my count here, he has just now 13 points in the fourth quarter. So he puts himself over 30 points on the night. As you take a look at a couple of the replays there, of course, the Girard twins having an excellent night as well. They had 22 points between them. And needless to say, Mount Vernon, they have a lot of momentum going up against Beech Grove coming up tomorrow night. Jim Leisure, once again, a pleasure working with you tonight, my friend.
Always a pleasure, Kurt. I enjoyed it, and we'll see. Next Friday, who's working with me? Was it Rob?
No, that'll be Rob Connett with you tomorrow, next week.
Rob
next
can't
Friday.
shake me, man. He's changed his phone number 3 times trying to get away from me, but I keep finding him.
Indeed it is. Final score once again here from Mount Vernon, 70-55. The Marauders knock off the Braves tonight to get their 15th win of the season. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling saying so long till next time. You've been watching IHSAA Boys Basketball on 9 Star TV. So long, everybody.